She gained a liberal education at a school called Westwood, where it was not just about books, but it was about furnishing the mind with all the tools and goodies to make a rounded person. Be that sport, where they had their tennis court across the road, or be it the reading club, or any other association. And what we see today is our assistant minister, Ann Shand, who, in spite of everything that the world has thrown at her, stand as a beacon in this place, in this country, and the universe. Reverend Ann.
Thank you all for that very warm welcome from your hearts. It's repeated in mine. I love you all. Good morning, and it's a really special day. And welcome to those joining us on our World Wide Web. This is a day we celebrate friendships, what they mean to us, and the underlying principle that love is the law that supports successful friendships, friendship with yourself, friendship with God, friendships with family, associates, and indeed the cosmos. In other words, living in a world that loving in a world that works for everyone. Joel Goldsmith reminds us that every one of us are transparencies of love, and that love in its unconditioned and free-flowing nature looked through the three-dimensional human appearance and saw every neighbor, friend, family member, and enemy as the same beautiful expression of God. End of quote. There are two Bible passages that puts all this into context. 1 John 3, verse 1. And I quote, "Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called sons of God." End of quote. John 15, 9-13. Jesus the Christ said, "As the Father hath loved me, so I have loved you. Continue ye in my love. If you keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken unto you, that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another, as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, than a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you." End of quote. This is my commandment, that ye love one another. How do we maintain this practice of living in love and friendship? My thoughts are it must begin with our relationship with that which incarnated us out of pure love. Dr. Holmes reminds us love is the self-givingness of the Spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. God, our Spirit, is synonymous with love. Our textbook, written by Dr. Holmes, reminds us that it is written that God is love, and that we are his expressed likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love is an essence, an atmosphere which defies analysis, as does life itself. It is that which is and cannot be explained. It is common to all people, to all animal life, and evident in the response of plants to those who love them. Love reigns supreme over all. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything. Fires the heart, stimulates the emotion, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love. Words cannot express its depth or meaning. A universal sense alone bears witness to the divine fact. God is love. Love is God. End of quote. Our scripture reminds us, behold what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should become sons of God. So it follows then, as Butterworth tells us, you don't love just because you are loved, and only if you are loved. You love because God first loved you. Because God is love within you, and you are created as an outlet for its flow, love always flows forth from within you to the degree that you let it. And there is no limit. End of quote. So how do we, culture, become increasingly aware of the grandest healing force within us? Our awareness of the love within must first be our focus. Since spirit has no past, I'm going to repeat a vow of love, and you repeat after me the words, because it gives you this sense of knowing that you're one with God, and you have to listen from within, from that love. So just gently close your eyes. Focus by placing your right hand on top of the physical heart. As the beat pulsates through the fingers, remember it is the heart of love, and it permeates every cell, tissue, and organ of our bodies. Our physical heart is our connection to the universal life that incarnated us out of pure love. Feel the rhythm. Sense the connection with the indwelling presence of love, our infinite creator. And let us renew together our intention to live in love. Repeat after me in a soft voice. I promise me always my unconditional love. To give me the right to always be myself. To share and communicate. To listen to me. To uplift me and inspire me. And to reach out to me. In all ways, to be a guiding light and a teacher. And to be unto me always a loving presence. And to honor me to the full extent of my God awareness. Now gently open your eyes and remove your hand from your heart. This is our vow to ourselves, to nurture and to nourish our God awareness in love and support of ourselves as a clear, open channel of love. In the silence of our hearts, to remember we are always beloveds of the Most High. And it must start with that awareness that we are indeed an awareness of love. No matter what the circumstances, facts are, we are indeed transparencies, mirrors of God's love. And what is more a reality, we are surrounded and do abide in that love. That vow came from the CSL sharings with other ministers, and it was especially from Dr. Maureen Hoyt. We really thank her for it. If you want a copy, I can always email it to you all. The metaphysical interpretation of the passage from John 15 ties in with the vow of love of ourselves. It is said that Jesus the Wayshower was telling us of the immeasurable internal power of unconditional love and its impact on our lives. He is portraying the beauty of functioning from that level of the soul, for at that level, all those around us are our family and indeed our brothers and sisters, no matter who or what they are. No matter how they appear or behave beneath the surface, they are the same as us, incarnated from the one love that is God. As we carry this indispensable trait of love within and around us, We show love in its purest form, and thereby all share in our joy of living in love. This is our power, and it will move impediments if we distribute that love unconditionally. As we constantly and diligently develop our consciousness of love and spiritual maturity, we are able to see persons, events, conditions in their true perspective. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. In that same chapter, from verse 14 to 15, Jesus said, "Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his father doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you." End of quote. Friends, this type of love, which is now permeating within us, engenders friendship, trust, and confidence. We can shift from being servants to life to living it fully in alliance with the best inner friend we could possibly have. And this makes life subservient to us. It becomes our effect, and we are the cause. We are cause to our life experience. A position of love enables us to live to the full extent of our God awareness. There's a story about a physicist and engineer by the name of Lester Livingston. You may see him on the internet. He attained material success in the 1950s. In 1952, he had a heart attack, a second one. He suffered from jaundice, kidney stones, migraine, perforated ulcer. He was sent home with the diagnosis that if he even moved, he would die from another heart attack. This man, it is told, realized his dilemma, made a serious examination of his life, and found that he was happiest when he was loving. Over a 3-month period, he learned to release the blocks to his being loving and happy, and as a result, his health problems disappeared. And the outcome was he was extremely happy. These blocks were removed by an inner awareness of love's presence within. How do we remove blocks to the courting of that awareness of love that allows us to maintain our friendships and live harmoniously with even those who seem not easy to love? First thing is a willingness to understand that there's an underlying bond deep within each one of us connecting us with each other. Dr. Holmes reminds us, to the extent we know that love and harmony are the nature of God and permit them to flow through us, to that extent our relations with others will be harmonious. End of quote. What are blocks? Anything that keeps us stuck in separation from love, friendship, harmony, respect, civility to others. So let us discuss some ideas that may assist us in moving forward in love. In our willingness to understand, one of the things we must watch for, internal and external dialogue conversations. Start with the internal mindset. The mouth is not yet announcing the thoughts, but our mind is full of opposites to love, friendship, harmony, respect, and civility. A teacher of mine used to say, Pansy, you remember her, "Don't look at me in that tone of voice." Dr. Beckwith would say, what is the quality of our nonverbal speech? What do we give tenancy to in our thoughts? We can ask the Lord, as in Psalms, to keep watch over the door of our lips, but it must start with our thoughts and ideas. They must be congruent to love, friendship, respect, harmony, and civility. Our awareness must be to bring consciously to mind what is good, beautiful, and true. And I remind you of Philippians 4, verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. End of quote. As we think on these things, our conversation, what we listen to and are sensitive to and of, shifts to a higher vibration. So therefore, anything we say after this must bless, heal, and prosper, because we understand the power of the spoken word coupled with emotional well-being. We are gracious, and unconditional love flows from us as our inner and outer dialogue are one and the same. If our conversations are holy, then the company we keep must reflect that. We are magnets to persons who share the values, goals, activities that support love and respect for others. In other words, we keep company with offspring of the Most High God. This is not fluff. It is not that we are openly selective. It is simply this. If we live in love, we attract what is loving and desirable to us. Our friends, associates, community are a reflection of that vibe of love. We have chosen to live this way. So no matter where we find ourselves, in the mountain, the valley, Timbuktu, like attracts like. A family, community, a group of friends that prays, meditates, study, serve together must accelerate the spiritual evolution of the individual as well as the collective. The second step to the removal of blocks is to learn or to be willing to forgive. Jesus, the way shown in Matthew 6, verse 12, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors, end of quote. The idea is that we must be willing to forgive others. As our own sins of omission or commission, we have those to take care of. As we forgive others, those are forgiven as well, our own. It may seem as an elementary principle, but the truth is, as stated by Harefield in his metaphysical interpretation of the Bible, if we desire love, let us love those that even do not love us. This alone will lift us above our circumstances. To this, however, judgment must be removed, and then we may apply the powerful tool of unconditional love. It is judgment that creates the conditions with which we live in the first place. If we do not desire to have anything unjust done to us or said about us, it is best that we do not express or we stay away from unjust judgment of any form, person, place, or event. But I'm sure someone is saying, what is Rev Ann saying? You don't know what this person has said about me or done to me. How can I live or show love in this kind of circumstance? And worse yet, how can I even forgive? But in the words of Dr. Holmes, the only solution or only healthy, normal, creative avenue approach is to let the reciprocal action of that love inherent in the universe flow in and through us and out into every phase of our experience. If it flows out, it will return, regardless of the situations, the conditions, or persons that we may feel inclined to dislike or hate. We must resist the inclination. In some way, we have to find something of value in them, no matter how big or little it may be, end of quote. Here it is, friends, a simple solution given by Dr. Holmes. Find something to like. Then concentrate on that alone, ignoring all the things we dislike. Once this is done, there can start to flow forth from us a feeling of love. And once the flow is started, the channel of reciprocal action opens up. As we give, so we receive. Find something to like. Even if it starts with, I like your shoes, or I like the color of your hair. Emma Curtis Hopkins says, to become sufficiently sensitive, negative, tender to an objective is to be its servant, doing its will. So it behoves us to allow the shift to take place. Simply start with something to like in him or her. Unforgiveness is corrosive. It fosters lack because love is denied. So we take the leap of faith. Alan Cohen tells the story of a young attorney of Spokane, Washington, who was part of a spiritual support group. He had a particular difficult case, and he was due in court, and he was at a loss as to how to handle it. It's a true story. This divorce proceeding was long and difficult. He could see no way that his client and her husband could ever reach an agreement. He sat in meditation on the morning of the case and prayed for guidance. That inner voice of knowing whispered, "Only forgive." He had to start with himself, because his primary mindset was to judge and limit everyone involved in the case. Then he saw the divine. He started looking for something in the husband, some spark that would allow him to look past the husband's demands on his clients. And the truth was that the husband was still in love with his wife, but he was hurt by the divorce. So he blessed the husband. He then blessed his client, the wife, because she too could be more flexible with her counter demands. Then he forgave himself for the judgment he had passed on the opposing attorney, who he felt was ruthless and uncompromising. So he blessed him, forgave himself for that judgment. Then he blessed the judge, the attorneys, the clerks, the other litigants, everyone who was in court, or anybody who had anything to do with the case. And finally, he worked on himself, forgiving himself, changing totally from his mindset now to love for everyone and himself. Court time arrived. When he got to court, he could find no one. Not his client, not the husband, no attorney, no clerk, no judge, nobody. Empty. What is this? What is going on? So he called the secretary of the opposing attorney, who said, "Oh, sorry," and informed him that the client's husband and wife decided to settle out of court, and he was to draw up the papers, send them, and they would be signed. All right. Still no judge. So he called the judge's office. The judge's response was, and I quote, "The most miraculous thing happened. We had 32 cases on the docket this morning, and everyone settled out of court." So, no court that day, because one man decided to forgive. His message was, and I quote, "Any hardship can be undone, transformed, and healed to reveal a shining star where once there was but a dark night. The most powerful way to accomplish this miraculous transformation is through forgiveness." End of quote. Let him that have ears to hear, please be willing to try. Just try with something that you like. The shoes are here. This story mentioned meditation. The benefits of meditation on our internal nervous system, subsequent health and outer benefits of peace and harmony cannot be overemphasized. Anywhere you see Reverend John or Dr. Sonia this morning, please stop them, ask them about the benefits, and give yourself a gift, love's gift. Learn to meditate. We are still looking at the removal of blocks. We have to be responsible for the dramas in our life. The antidote to the experiences that we do not want is to choose the opposite. This day, in this moment, to live in love. It cannot be forced or coerced. We must take the responsibility to redirect our minds to constructive, loving thinking, thereby engendering this trust and confidence in that indwelling presence of love to transform our world. So now we begin with a cheerful, happy mindset until we can drink copiously from the well of joy. We don't have to wait on anything or anyone. We can begin right now. Please say to your neighbor, anybody in the church, in fact, "I say yes to love today." After 3.
I say yes to love today.
Again.
Yes, I say yes to love today.
Over there. Yes, friends, we say yes to love today. Happy, loving people are involved, committed, and dedicated to nourishing themselves and others. Happy, loving people know how to allow spontaneous right action to work through their lives, as everything they see is a possibility or an opportunity to give love. Happy, loving people are responsive, attentive, and appreciative. They see love, beauty, and joy in all things. Happy, loving people are compassionate, good listeners, non-judgmental, but discerning, wise people because they see beyond seeming appearances. Finally, our friendships offer us the opportunity to deepen our connections with ourselves and others. It calls for special qualities that are already inherent in us. That is love, kindness, support, acceptance, and understanding. I end with a little story of a little lady at 92 years old, though legally blind. She was being removed from her home to a nursing home. And as she waited in the lobby, everyone noted her enthusiasm, and she was always smiling. When they described the room to her, she burst out, "I love it." The nurse in response said, "But you haven't seen it yet. Just wait." The 90-year-old said, "That does not have anything to do with it. Happiness is something you decide on ahead of time. Whether I like my room or how the furniture is arranged, it is how I arrange my mind. I have decided to love it. So let us arrange our minds on the decision today. I say yes to love."
I say yes to love.
In a half voice.
I say yes to love.
In your hearts. So in your quiet time today, read 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Change charity to love. Allow it to sink in your consciousness and let it reveal its truth to you. Happy Valentine's Day. And I say yes to love.